What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Slam NFL Game Day Playbook DFS Preview Show. It's week 8, Howard, of the NFL season, halfway through the year here. NFL season continues to fly by. We've had a lot of fun covering the NFL season, a success this season in NFL DFS, and we got a big slate, 13 games for this Sunday here after the last few weeks just being 10 games due to London and double Monday night football and vibes and all this stuff. We got a full slate on tap here.
Yeah, it's good to have that, right? No bye weeks, no London game. Let's just get down to business here. We had a little good effort there on Thursday Night Football. Yeah. We saw the return of Cooper Kupp. We saw the return of Puka Nacua. Exciting stuff there. I did a little showdown lineup off of Dan Malin's showdown playbook and 3X'd my money there. So I felt comfortable in that realm. So, listen, man, I think that, I feel like it's coming. Like, I know it's coming. We see our subscribers and where they are in contests and stuff like that. And I feel it's coming, man. It really is. And, I know that we've been, going through it and, through the first 7 weeks and it's been fine. Yeah. It hasn't been spectacular, but it's been fine. And I want it to be spectacular. So let's make it spectacular this week, John.
Yeah. Last week was obviously a tough week. It was like the worst fantasy week of all time. Quarterback. I laughed. I did the quarterback coach and I still had 4 of the top 8 quarterbacks in the quarterback coach. But when Patrick Mahomes is QB 10 with 14 fantasy points, you knew it was a down week, right? When CJ Stroud is throwing for less than 100 yards in a game, with all the injuries, the numerous zeros we had at the wide receiver position last week. I'm ready to turn the page here and take a look at this slate. Before we do, want to at least acknowledge we got a 7-day free trial going on. You can see that QR code right up there in the corner of the screen. You see the scroll down at the bottom, fantasyslam.com/win. If you use promo code Let's Go when you sign up, that first month after your 7-day free trial is less than $20. So again, give us a test drive for 7 days for free, scanning that QR code, or go to fantasyslam.com/win. Get access to not just our NFL DFS content, but NBA is kicking off. NHL is underway. We got a big MMA pay-per-view this weekend. NASCAR is still going on. Golf's fall swing is underway. So you get access to all of that premium content and the betting content. Howard does a bunch of best bets for NFL. You get that included as well. So come give us a try for 7 days. Hit that like, that subscribe, and that share. Also a free way to support what we do here over at Fantasy Alarm. Howard, jumping into things here.
Yeah.
13 game slate, as we mentioned. We go position by position. We have the quarterback position. I do the quarterback coach this week. Lamar Jackson has obviously been one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy this season. On the road against Cleveland, he is $8,000. You have Josh Allen with his new toy, Amari Cooper, $7,800. Jalen Hurts, $75. Jaden Daniels may play. Had an aggressive, in quotations, practice today. We'll see if he's ready to go with the rib injury that he's dealing with. Jordan Love, $71. Joe Burrow, $7K. There's a pretty sizable tier of $7K and above quarterbacks for DraftKings. Again, 13-game slate, more players than we're used to. How are you going about targeting your lineup builds today?
Dude, you should see what it looks like over on FanDuel right now, because you've got Allen and Jaden Daniels both one's at $9,400, the other's at $9,000, right? And then all of a sudden your $8,000 tier goes Love, Lamar, Hurts, Stroud, Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield even. Like, I mean, they're pricing up. Listen, that quarterback is the most important position. You can't miss on your quarterback,
right?
If you want to cash, if you want to win. And so you got to, kind of roll with the punches there. If we're paying up, I mean, listen, I would, I'm not going to use Jaden Daniels at all. Okay. I'm probably not going to use Josh Allen either, not against Seattle's pass defense and their secondary, knowing how kind of turnover prone he can be. Jordan Love's in a great spot. I feel like you have to use Jordan Love as if you're paying up, he's going to be a great one to check out there. And I'll tell you what I like about Lamar Jackson is the Ravens defense isn't what it used to be. they are not a shutdown, lockdown defense. And when you've got Jameis Winston on the other side of the field, just playing his huck-it-chuck-it football.
Yeah.
I mean, he might not have Amari Cooper, but Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, like he's going to be airing it out like a ton there. And if Baltimore's defense does start giving up some points, well, then you're forcing Lamar Jackson into a different situation. He's the most expensive player here on DraftKings. He is the fourth most expensive player on FanDuel. So, you know, you kind of have to turn and look at that. You know, it's only a $600 difference between him and Josh Allen, but still, fourth highest? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I actually don't mind the Josh Allen. I get what you're saying with his potentially being turnover prone, and they definitely do have a decent secondary, but you know, just getting Amari Cooper just sort of changes the entire outlook, I think, for him, because he you know, we were fading really Josh Allen because we didn't really trust his wide receivers to be consistently there for him, and even he, you know, was struggling to find consistency, making connections with these guys. Yeah, Keon Johnson starting to come on a little bit there. We've seen Shakir. And Mac Hollins had a touchdown catch. Kincaid was slow to get going, but he immediately connects with Amari Cooper. And I just think that shifts everybody and slots everybody down, I think, a little bit better in terms of where they should fit into that offense. So I definitely don't mind going Allen there. But for me, Love, for sure, listed as a top quarterback in the quarterback coach this week. You know, Jacksonville is so bad. So I'm with you there. Give me $7,100 for Jordan Love. Mid 6K range. Any targets for you? Are you buying into Tua this week? Cleared concussion protocol. Going to be good to go. Going to be ready to play home against a bad Arizona defense. It's a good price tag for him. 6,100.
It is a good price tag for him, and I would probably use him in like a GPP tournament. I'm not going to use him in cash just because it's Tua, and you know, one bad hit, and all of a sudden, what are you doing? But you know, this is going to be the first game where Miami is firing on all cylinders. So I think Tua is a great play. You know, in this tier, just kind of, you know, starting from up above, I do like Joe Burrow, by the way, at $7,000. I do. Okay. Stroud for me, I put him into the contrarian corner video because it's typically a run funnel defense for Indianapolis. And we see the way Joe Mixon is going. I'll use Stroud in a GPP tournament as a contrarian play just because, you know, Indy's pass defense isn't really that great either. So, right. You know, I'll look at that. Mahomes. This is another kind of a crazy one for me. I don't know how you feel about him, but if you look at his numbers, he's 10-2 against the Raiders in his career. Yep. He's averaging like 290 some odd yards and 2.5 touchdowns per game in his career against the Raiders. I do like Kareem Hunt as like, you know, running on the Raiders here, but yep. You know, I almost feel like this is like one of those games where Mahomes needs to like, you know, reestablish himself. Everybody's dogging him right now. Somebody actually asked me, and it's in the mailbag question, should I start Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes? Like, that's yes? How bad it's gotten for him.
Did you say yes?
No.
Listen, I have him again in the quarterback coach. I like this matchup just in general. You know, Las Vegas, that team is starting to trend down a little bit. You know, by all accounts, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be active and ready to go for him here. So, you know, that's a good news because they need wide receivers. You know, Kelsey hopefully can kind of get back in a good matchup here against the Raiders. So there's definitely some potential and upside, but I think the running game has really taken a lead. They're willing to give the ball to Kareem Hunt. And I mean, you know, if you remember during training camp, there was, you know, videos of Mahomes kind of walking in and maybe looking out of shape and their Super Bowl hangover, and they were traveling around. And, you know, again, he doesn't look great. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. You know, not all of that is a lack of receivers. He's just not playing great. So I don't mind him in tournaments just because of the matchup. Right. They're not playing Baker Mayfield with no wide receivers, even though, you know, we saw what that was going to happen a couple of weeks ago. I do like the other side of that game, Kirk Cousins at 62.
Yep, me too.
I like him in cash games. You can play him in tournaments if you want as well. Caleb Williams, I think, is interesting. Coming off of a bye, last 2 games for Caleb Williams were really good against bad defenses in Carolina and Jacksonville. You know, I think they're pushing Jaden Daniels. I think the league maybe is even pushing Jaden Daniels to play in this one because they flexed this game to the 425 window for the Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels matchup. So I like Caleb Williams here at 6K going against this Commanders defense.
Yeah, I think he's in a good spot here. I mean, it's kind of funny. Thought Andy Dalton would be able to do something against this Washington defense last week. And that one was just an absolute nightmare. So I might have some PTSD using Caleb Williams against Washington, but I'm with you there on the matchup. I think it is a good solid play.
I agree. I mean, again, we're waiting for these rookie quarterbacks. They're all starting to sort of come around and playing a little bit better of late here. I'm not playing Anthony Richardson. Not for me there. I actually do like Bo Nix this week. Home against Carolina. I also think that they're going to be put into some spots because of their defense. I don't know if you saw the Carolina news today. No Deontay Johnson, no Adam Thielen. They're going back to Bryce Young. Yep. This could be a lot of short field, quick turnovers for Carolina's offense. And then Bo Nix in the offense is right back out there. The rushing upside the last 2 weeks is very nice. We knew he was mobile, but 61 and 75 yards rushing just helps the bottom line. And Carolina, I think, is just kind of ready to mail it in here. So, you don't know who's going to throw the football to from week to week, but I do like Bo Nix at $5,600 this week.
Well, that's, again, that's like the big question there is like trying to figure it out. You're also talking about a guy who's averaging 178 yards per game, passing yards per game. Mm-hmm. He's not, it's not a big passing, high volume passing offense. And when you're looking at Carolina, I mean, give me all the Javonte Williams you can give me. Sure. But I'm sure Jaleel McLaughlin and I'm sure that Audric Estime are going to get involved in this also. So, I mean, you can definitely build the lineup with Bo Nix. I just don't know how heavily involved he needs to be for Denver to just, get out of this game.
Sure. I honestly think that you might be able to play just a naked Bo Nix. I think Franklin would be a guy I'd look to target if I was stacking somebody with them. But
I'm not worried about like a stack or anything. Sure. What I'm worried about is just how much is he going to throw?
Sure.
Because, I mean, unless he runs in at least one touchdown, right? I mean, if he throws for 175 yards and one touchdown, like, are you getting value there?
I think it depends on the running game. If he can give you the 75 and 60 or even 50 here rushing yards, like, that's another 5 to 6 fantasy points just on top of what he gets you. So $5,600 there. Where are you on Drake May?
Again, I think the Jets are going to just come in and annihilate them. Okay. I really do. The secondary, I got to see what the health of the Jets secondary is right now. Also, they lost, I think he was like, was it DJ Hall who was out last week? It's a very depleted defense. If the Jets defense is just as depleted this week, then I can look at Drake May and be like, okay, here's a guy who's going to throw for, 230 yards and maybe a touchdown or two. But I'm not dying to invest in him, especially knowing that, the Jets are great. Hassan Reddick is supposed to be back and playing, and that offensive line for New England isn't really that strong.
No, it's terrible. They're going to be playing from behind as they've been, and that's led to 33 and 37 pass attempts and some garbage time touchdowns too, which we love, Howard, right? We don't care.
Jameis.
How ugly. Yeah, where is Jameis here? Jameis is right here. 452.
There he is.
You buying in against Baltimore here?
I mean, again, just given the track record and what we've seen, I mean, that to me is, because again, Winston will throw a couple of picks in this game, but I don't care if he's throwing for 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. And that's just, that's what he does. I mean, he's going to have Nick Chubb behind him. There's no Jerome Ford. I can't really see Pierre Strong getting like too many packages in there. And Jameis Winston doesn't check it down. So, I mean, I think for that price, I mean, he's 6,500 on FanDuel, which is like,
I agree. I like it. I like the call there. Running backs. Barkley's up at the top. Derrick Henry, both up over 8K.
Wait. Before we get to the running back, who's your favorite quarterback? Like overall? Who's the guy? Who's the guy that you're like locking into your lineups? I mean, we're going to be building a lineup here as is, but like, who's your guy that you're turning to? Is it the cheaper end?
No, I'm going Jordan Love.
You're going Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That's where I'm at this week.
All right.
And just hope that Jacksonville can play a little bit back into them. Like Jordan Love a reason to throw another 3 touchdowns, right? To be competitive there. Running backs, again, top guys there. I absolutely love Joe Mixon this week. Would have just plug him right back into my lineup against Indy. At home feels really good here. And then Breece Hall. I don't know if you know this, but New England can't stop anybody on the ground. So those would be the 2 running backs I'd look to plug. Again, we'll have some more value as we go down, but picking 2 running backs, those would be the 2 guys I'd be looking to spend up for this week. What are your thoughts, in the 7K and up range?
All right. Well, so again, I'm looking over excuse me, here on FanDuel where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 running backs priced higher than Breece Hall on FanDuel. 11.
I would immediately put him into your lineup.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't
like everybody now the whole story this week has been how New England can't stop the run. So do they overcompensate this week to stop the run? I guess we'll have to find out.
And let Rodgers pick you apart with Devontae Adams,
or even just throw it to Breece Hall like they do every game as well. He had 103 yards receiving last week. So the Jacksonville Jaguars ran the final 23 plays. They were running plays, or 22 of the last 23 plays of that game were all just Tank Bigsby, like hard left tackle draws, and he ran all over New England. So Mixon and Breece Hall are my 2 favorite top up spends. Nothing against Derrick Henry, who continues to have that one big run a game that really just gives you half of his fantasy points.
Yeah.
He scores a touchdown, or Barkley against Bengals, which is a good matchup, but that's kind of where I'm at here.
I do love Kenneth Walker this week. I think Walker is in a great spot. Buffalo definitely struggles against the run, so I'm in on him as well. Jordan Mason, obviously against FanDuel Sunday night action. There you go. Jordan Mason.
Where is Jordan Mason?
Oh, that's right. Sunday night. You don't get him over on DraftKings.
No.
We get him here on FanDuel. So Jordan Mason's definitely somebody that if you are playing on FanDuel, Dallas can't stop the run, and I dig on that. Other than that, I mean, like, again, I love Kareem Hunt. I think he's in a good spot. Let me look on.
Hunt's only $6,300 is a great price.
I know, it's crazy.
And if you were in on Javonte, he's $6K, coming off the best game he's had in 3 years. Micah Parsons officially out against the 49ers, by the way. So
yeah. Oh man, so I think they're a good option. All right, let me just. I'm looking on the screen now here, so I can say. All right, so Josh Jacobs against Jacksonville. I think that's a good spot. Definitely in on that. Sadly, out on all things Hubbard now. Even though he's going to get tons of volume in this one here. I don't like Tony Pollard because I don't like their offense, their situation. I do like Brian Robinson Jr. Bears are giving up, it's like 115 rushing yards per game. They've given up 6 rushing touchdowns. If you're going to use Caleb Williams and maybe stack a bear or 2, then, I think Brian Robinson coming back is definitely a worthwhile play, especially if it's going to be Mariota and not Jaden Daniels.
Right.
I'm out on the Detroit backs just because I like Tennessee's run defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved down to Devon Achane.
Okay.
I just did a video for him as a buy now type guy. And this is what I said in the video. He's healthy. 2 is healthy. McDaniel loves to run the football. And in games where I love this number here. In games where Devon Achane gets 10 carries or more and 2 is the quarterback, it's like 26.8 or 28.6 fantasy points per game. That's what Achane's had so far.
Yeah, big time, obviously explosive player, and defenses can't just stack the box because Miami had no representative passing game without Tua, so they didn't have to worry about Tyreek and Waddle and that whole crew. Now they will. I think this whole tier is pretty strong. Not that you're disagreeing with me, but Hunt, Bigsby's been unbelievable. Basically took that job from ETN. DeAndre Swift, I know a guy you hate, but I mean, something's clicked for him the last 3 weeks. Maybe it's just the usage. But Rams, Carolina, Jacksonville probably also helping lead the way here, but 93, 73, 91 rushing touchdowns in all 3 games, passing game usage for DeAndre Swift. As long as he can stay healthy, we know what kind of player upside he has.
You know who DeAndre Swift is? Like, there's a reason that this dude's worn out his welcome. I figured it out. You know who I think he is? I don't know him on a personal level, but have you seen the movie? I know it's tough to ask this question. Have you seen the movie Varsity Blues?
Yes.
He's Booby Miles.
Okay.
He's running around, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Right? To the point where he annoys everybody and they're like, get him out. Just get him
maybe,
out.
Possibly. Got Javonte, though, your guy at 6K. Yep. Good going there. Would you pivot to Mostert, or are you all in on Achane?
I prefer Achane to Mostert. Okay. Again, because you're not looking at a significant bump up in salary. It's 300 over there.
Yeah,
it's a 59 to it's a bigger differential on FanDuel. But yeah, I feel like Achane's just the more explosive guy. He's also he also stays involved in the passing game as well. So
it's the Gibbs versus Montgomery debate most of the time. It's all Achane and Mostert is. Mostert just hasn't had the opportunity to score because he was either hurt when Tua was in, or Tua's been out the rest of the time. So this will be like the second game all year where Tua and Mostert have played together. So if they have opportunities in the red zone, I think Mostert could be the guy getting the football there. Bucky Irving is going to play, they said, but again, they have the 3 running backs there.
Yeah, what a nightmare that is, huh?
Super nightmare. Jonathan Taylor's expected to be back, so that takes Goodson out of the play. Any other value running backs for you as you work around?
I have not seen any value running backs really pop up on the radar at all. No. I haven't seen, anyone that would really be somebody that I'm like, yeah, you know what, sneak him into the lineup. I mean, we'll see what happens with practice reports and stuff like that. Maybe something, pops up late on a Friday, but no, I think it's that mid tier that I think we're going to end up living in probably the most.
Yeah. A lot of good 6K plays there. Wide receiver. Again, obviously you can spend up if you want. Jamar Chase is there. If you're over on FanDuel, you got Ceedee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown. No real issues getting to any of these guys here. Cincinnati, Philadelphia could be a really fun, just high scoring back and forth game. So getting the elite wide receivers are there. Drake London for me in cash games, I think, is in a great spot here at $7,200. If you wanted to hit that. Anything else for you sort of in this upper echelon of pricing?
No, nothing that I see as far as that we haven't covered already. I mean, I think that we're in a really good spot here with those elite guys. Again, that next tier down, we've been living in this tier for a while. Well, go scroll up. You missed yes, that's primary guy.
Right.
But look at the price tag on Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
7,000. He's only 7,600 on FanDuel also. This dude wept in front of the media when they told him that Tua was coming back this week.
Yeah.
Wept.
Yeah. Well, again, if you're Miami, your number one priority has to be get some level of actual NFL caliber backup quarterback, because Tua's any player's one hit away. Tua, more than others, is one hit away from being shelved for the season. So, some things have to be done from them moving forward to protect themselves from that happening. But yeah, while he's healthy, Tyreek's an 8K wide receiver getting at 7. I like that. It was last year against Washington where DJ Moore had 200 yards receiving. I'm sure he hasn't forgotten that. I'm sure Washington hasn't forgotten that. But you got them coming out of a bye with Caleb Williams the way he's playing right now. I like DJ Moore here at $6,600.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lock button move for me. Absolutely. I'm with you completely. That's a guy that's probably a guy who's just going to live in all of my lineups, both cash and GPP.
Sure.
The question, do I think about stacking with them? That I don't know. I'm not going to choose between Odunze and Keenan Allen or Cole Kmet even from that standpoint, but I think Moore is a guy I definitely want to get into my lineup for sure.
Sure. Brian Thomas is going to have a tough matchup. Obviously, he draws the Alexander, but I mean, he's been ridiculous if you're looking for someone to come back. It's pretty clear that Evan Ingram returning is just axed out Christian Kirk again. Didn't think we'd see that be the way the targets go, but that's the way Jacksonville offense has been running. It's been Brian Thomas and it's been Evan Ingram. So you got that. DK Metcalf is questionable to play this week, which would put Jackson Smith-Njigba and Tyler Lockett on the forefront here. Seattle still top passing offense in terms of yardage in the NFL here. So at home against Buffalo could easily get to either of those two plays. And then I like Amari Cooper at 6K on the other side of that one.
Yeah, I was in on Cooper last week. I think, yeah, it just changes the dynamic of the passing game, right? It's like having Stephon Diggs without the attitude problem.
Well, Amari Cooper's had plenty of attitude problems over the course of his.
Sure, but right now, I mean, listen, anytime you've spent time in Cleveland,
yeah,
right? Anywhere else you go, you're going to be like, whatever you need, I'm your guy.
All he was missing was his dad to create a mixtape of all the overthrows, right? the OBJ video.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, again, it's been very difficult to trust, him this year. He's $5,800, but again, good matchup. Darnell Mooney, someone we played a lot of. Romeo Doubs, we keep telling people that Romeo Doubs is the guy. We said it all last week as well. He's just the unsexy play. We like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson are more fun, and then Romeo Doubs goes out there 8 on 10 for 94, and you're like, yeah, he's the number one wide receiver. This guy, he's been the number one wide receiver. So you Jacksonville, terrible. Like, give me some Romeo Doubs here at $5,700. I love that price for him.
Yes, I agree 100%. I think, yeah, I mean, again, he's not the big sexy play. That's why people don't ever use him, right? But he moves the chains. He's reliable for targets. He's got a good high floor. And then all of a sudden people pay attention to him when he has a 2-touchdown game, and then he doesn't score a touchdown the following week, and they're like, he's garbage.
Yep. Maybe getting Amari Cooper is good for Keon Coleman here. Take some pressure off of him. Defenses now have to pay attention. A couple of games.
I'll tell you what, actually, we had Ryan Heath from Fantasy Points Data joining the show on Sirius XM yesterday. Yeah. And he pointed out the fact that of Keon Coleman, all of his targets, Amari Cooper wasn't on the field at that point. So it wasn't like coverage was being pulled away. It was just what their coverage scheme was,
sure.
In that matchup. So just something to think about there when you're talking about. I don't want to be the old man shaking his fist at a bunch of clouds saying,
you got the
data.
You got the data. I still think anytime you can draw coverage away, I think the kid's super talented. He's been making some big plays. Maybe he just needs that little extra boost there. Waddle's super cheap too if you're in there. Again, I know he's always just banged up at some levels here, but $5,400. Again, he's a better player than that now that they have a real quarterback.
Right.
Dontavian Wicks had the touchdown last week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else do we want to do down here?
Well, I mean, listen, the chalk is Jalen McMillan. He's like $3,700.
Right there, yeah.
I mean, that's the chalk. He's going to be. I've been looking at ownership percentages, and everybody's in on him as well as Trey Palmer. Like those two guys, ownership wise, are going to be super high. And listen, I like Jalen McMillan. If you're playing in cash games, take the free square. Like just take the free square.
Yeah,
I mean, you might as well do it. GPP tournaments. I mean, it's a fine matchup, but I don't know what kind of upside there is. Really for him. So, but there are enough guys down there at the bottom rung of the ladder that are looking at, wow, how much is DeAndre Hopkins over on?
He's cheap. He was $4,900 for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, he's $5,400 here on FanDuel. So, what about see again, you can't. Well, I can ask the question because we do like to cater to our FanDuel people.
Sure.
Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, like these are going to be two guys. I know that Deebo Samuel is, they're hoping that he's going to play, but I mean,
Jennings is actually doubtful this week.
Is he good? Because he was hospitalized with pneumonia, he couldn't breathe. So now you've got Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall going up against the Cowboys.
No, Jennings is doubtful.
Oh, Jennings is doubtful?
Yeah.
Well, then let's talk Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah. Talk about him. You got him on your slate, not mine.
I know. Well, I mean, listen, I think that this is just a great opportunity for him. Like, this is where you're going to see, like, make it or break it kind of a situation. They're going to want to get him involved. Debo's not going to be able to do it on his own. And they don't throw the ball to Jordan Mason. Like, how many catches does Jordan Mason have per game? Christian McCaffrey was getting like 100 targets.
Mm-hmm.
So where are those targets going in San Francisco? And I think that you've got to look at Ricky Pearsall at a very, very strong, significant discount as an opportunity here that, you know, even if he doesn't even if he doesn't see 15 targets, if he sees 8 targets, that's going to be huge at this price.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a great value for Pearsall there. Where's Tillman?
I was just looking at him too. 5,100 on FanDuel.
Let's see, Tillman, is he?
You have a search box, right?
Yeah, I know, but I like to give viewers bad viewership and just scroll.
You want to give everybody vertigo as you like scroll up and down.
Yeah, I like bad TV here. $3,300, 12 targets last week.
Yeah.
They used a 3rd round pick on him. Was it last year? So a couple years ago, they used the 3rd round pick on him. So they're finally working him in at least for that game. You know, got a gunslinger there, and Jameis now looking to throw downfield. Not bad. There was another cheap guy that I was no Jameson Williams. So they said one thing. They said that Allen Robinson is going to take the Jameson Williams role. Do you have any interest in Allen Robinson?
Allen Robinson? Where's my Tim Patrick?
That's what I thought too. But Dan Campbell stated Wednesday, Robinson will take on a heavy load this weekend against the Titans. $3K min price, dartboard potential material.
I mean, it's definite dartboard material. I mean, if Dan Campbell's saying that Allen Robinson is going to take the spot of, like, you have to listen to that, right? You can't, that's not something that you can ignore.
I didn't know Allen Robinson was in the league still. So, because I was all about to be Tim Patrick as well. The other guy, you mentioned McMillan. What about our guy Shepard here?
Yeah, that's another one. Like, everybody's looking. I put him in the contrarian corner video because of the ownership projections for McMillan and for Trey Palmer. Mm-hmm. If you're going to leave Sterling Shepard, veteran presence, maybe that's, where the connection is. He also ran, I want to say he runs like 30% of his snaps out of the slot.
Yeah.
So that's more of the Chris Godwin world than even Jalen McMillan. Jalen McMillan's only running like 18 to 20% of his snaps out of the slot. So something definitely to think about.
Never been a talent issue with Sterling Shepard. It's been a health issue with Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
So now opportunity. So there's plenty of punt wide receivers.
So much value. So much value.
Coop did a video today. We'll talk about more value. We'll just jump to it at tight end, saying there's no other tight end for you to put in your lineup this week than Cade Otton. He's the tight end 20 in terms of pricing this week. He mentioned last year when Godwin was out, he had like an 11 target game or something like that. He had 10 targets last week against Baltimore. He said, this is your tight end play on DraftKings, is Cade Otton. Do you agree or disagree?
You know what? I want to check one quick thing here, and I will probably say yes on that front because he's been downgraded to doubtful. So Justin Simmons, strong safety for the Atlanta Falcons, listed as doubtful. Okay. Troy Anderson, their inside linebacker, is out.
Okay.
So yes to Cade Otton.
Okay, I thought you were telling me Cade Otton was doubtful. I was like, what? Where?
No. I wouldn't do that to you, Johnny.
Okay. So Cade Otton, Coop said, just plug him in and move on. Don't even think about anybody else. We tend to trust Coop sometimes in those situations. But Bowers is your top price tight end. Kansas City can't stop any tight ends this year. Bowers, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Double-digit targets every week. It's back to Gardner Minshew. Like, talk about a guy that came into the league as advertised and is not letting us down. He's going to be 1,000-yard receiver as a rookie year.
I mean, I love him, and Kansas City continues to give up points. I know that, a lot of the points have been on kind of flukish plays, But I mean, I don't see a reason not to, look at him. No,
Yeah, no,
I'm fine.
I'm with you there. Ninjoku, someone you had in your video this week.
I love him. I love him. I'm actually building a lineup with a 2 tight end set, simply because I want to. I'll tell you. I'll explain that afterwards. But yeah, David Njoku, 21 targets in the last 2 games. There's no Amari Cooper. You got Jerry Jeudy. You got Elijah Moore. You got Cedric Tillman. But Njoku is like, I mean, he's that guy. He runs the sideline routes. He runs the seam route up the middle. I mean, he does everything that a wide receiver does. So big fan.
Yep, agreed. Good spot for Njoku, obviously. Again, Evan Ingram's been getting a bunch of work here for Jacksonville. He's 5K. Dalton Kincaid, 49. Where else are we looking to go here? Kyle Pitts maybe at 44.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that the tight end position is, because here's the problem, and this is what I've been going through with DFS, is that I'm trying not to spend money at the position.
Sure.
Simply because, we've been so let down at the top of the heap that, for me, it's like, who's going to be the chalkiest tight end I can possibly use? Like in cash games, it's like, who's the number 1 tight end based on ownership? Because I'll just plug them in and I'll build my lineup around that.
Yeah. Rather
than fight it, just give me the free square. Or I'm paying all the way down at the position.
Sure.
And I'm living in that, that kind of a range where even Lucas Krull from Denver looks good.
I mean, someone's got to catch footballs, right? So
right, Jatavian Sanders, right? Who's going to catch the ball for Carolina? Bryce Young is going to have to throw somewhere.
They're going to try. I mean, yeah, Sanders is good. Obviously, we didn't talk about Xavier Legette. He's going to be their number 1 wide receiver.
I'm not using anybody from Carolina. I'm just saying, the tight end is a different story.
Sure. No, Sanders has been good. 4th round pick out of them. Last couple of weeks paid it off. No Dallas Goedert. Would you give Calcaterra a look this week?
No Dallas Goedert completely.
I
didn't see that news. Yes, Calcaterra is a fantastic pay down without a doubt. I think that he is in a very, very good spot.
Goddard officially ruled out. Yep.
Yeah, I think he's in a very, very good spot then. I'm fine using Calcaterra because he's running the routes. As long as he's running the routes, that's really all I care about.
Agreed. All right, defenses here. I think everybody's just playing Denver this week, right? No Bryce Young, no wide receivers. They're at home. It just feels like the easy plug and move here.
It is where I got to look where they're priced on.
They're the second highest on DraftKings. So
yeah, they're second highest on FanDuel also.
But sometimes you don't have to be cute with it, right?
No, sometimes you don't have to be cute with it. And Denver's defense is definitely going to be worth the money, but not with this lineup I'm building right now, Johnny. I'm telling you, Johnny.
Carolina is plus 400 to not score a touchdown this week. Would you take it?
Carolina is plus 400 to not score a touchdown. Yeah, I would sprinkle a half unit on that.
Yeah. So we hit that a couple of years ago with the Arizona Cardinals when they had Clayton Tune, remember? We said, well, can we bet on Arizona not scoring a touchdown? And then they didn't. So I looked at it this morning, Carolina plus 400 for no touchdowns. So as long as I guess their defense scores a touchdown, we're in the clear. You do have the Jets against New England. We know there's going to be a lot of sacks probably, and Drake May could throw a pick there. He got strip sacked a couple games prior to that, so could have some turnover upside for the Jets here. Chargers at home, Spencer Rattler. They are going to have Chris Olave back, so that changes a little bit, but you do have the Chargers defense here against Rattler, which could be pretty good because we just saw how much of a disaster that looked on last Thursday. Anything else for defenses for you here?
No, I mean, that's the thing is I really want to know who the hell I can pay down with, right? I would have said Atlanta against Tampa Bay since they were losing all their weaponry, but like with Simmons doubtful now and Anderson out, that's a tough sell. There's nobody really down at the bottom that I wouldn't use the Raiders. I wouldn't use the Titans.
I consider the Bears.
Yeah, I would consider using the Bears, but they are They're priced up over here. They're like,
no, they're super cheap on DraftKings, 2,700.
oh, that's the defense you use over on DK. Because I think that's a good spot here if it's Mariota.
Yeah. Off a bye, even Daniel's still like, if he's not 100%, if he can't throw because the ribs or something like that, right? Like there's still potential. Maybe we can get it after the quarterback. So I could see the Bears being the cheap.
Where's Houston over there?
Houston mid-tier, 3,100.
Mid-tier, yeah. I mean, again, I like the mistakes that Anthony Richardson makes. I would kind of take a look at them, but
I think being back bothers me a little bit there, but
a little bit, yeah.
That's about it.
Wow, I guess we're paying up for defenses. That's crazy.
Seems that way. All right, what do you got for a lineup?
Really? You want to see mine first?
Sure.
Because you're definitely not fitting this into in over there.
Okay.
Should I share my screen?
If you want to.
No, I'll just tell you. Here you go. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where'd he go? Oh, Caleb Williams.
Okay.
All right. And then it goes Caleb Williams, Brian Robinson Jr., Javonte Williams, Ceedee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Cade Otton, David Njoku in the flex.
Okay.
And the Broncos D.
I like it.
So I've got Caleb Williams with DJ Moore, and I've got a little bit of correlation there with Brian Robinson Jr. Bears run defense is not strong. Right. I've got Javonte Williams against Carolina and the Broncos defense for some correlation there. And then I said, screw the rest of correlation here. And I went Ceedee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Get these guys into your lineup if you could. And then like Njoku was just it kind of fit there for Njoku at 5,500 over there. You could probably, there are other names that you could explore in that realm here. But overall, I would say that, see, I'm scrolling down to like the 5,500 and stuff like that. Even Mark Andrews is $100 over my budget. So not really able to do that. I could stack if I wanted to go with Odunze in there, and I could go, I wanted to go full stack here for the Chicago Bears. I could actually go DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
In that in that realm there. So or I could stack with Cole Kmet if I wanted to. So there are definitely a ton of different options that you can go with here, building that lineup. But I mean, again, you're getting some pretty ridiculous players in there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just trying to see what we could play around with here. I got Love, I got Dubs. I got 1,100 left. We're kind of in like a weird price range for guys. See, Flex 44. I think that's like, let's see, wide receivers. Got Kyle Pitts, which I don't mind. You said go the double. Bateman's been pretty interesting. Dartboard guy the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, Zay Flowers missed another practice recently, like on Thursday. So if Zay Flowers isn't ready to go, I definitely like Rashad Bateman. So
we got Love, Hall, Hunt, Dubs, Moore, Waddle, Otton, Bateman, and Broncos D. So
wow, interesting.
Little tournament flyer there.
Little tournament flyer.
So example lineup for all of you. Love the playbook out, obviously. Example lineups on Sunday. Dartboard's out. The watch list from Howard is out. The Contrarian Corner and the value videos as well on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. Howard's in the Discord, obviously, to help you guys out as well. And you can get us Sunday morning, myself, 11 to 12 with Coop, and Bender and Coop, 10 to 11 on Sirius XM to get you ready for the Week 8 slate. Once again, we appreciate you all tuning in. We have a 7-day free trial going on. If you want to get access to all that content I just mentioned, you can check it out for free. Scan the QR code or go to fanslam.com/win. If you use promo code Let's Go when you sign up, that first month after your 7-day free trial is less than $20. Good luck this week with your lineups, everybody. We'll be back next week. Until then, we will catch you later.